Look at all the food.
Welcome, everybody. We're glad to have you here today. I have never seen such an array of beautiful colors in my life.
And it isn't even cooked.
It's not even cooked yet. But all of this is going to go together into something absolutely awesomely wonderful. And I was just thinking, you know, my stomach started almost growling when I saw all of this food because it's so beautiful. And I was thinking that seeing food, beautiful food, and then the smell and being able to see food. Now, I haven't been able to eat for a while, and has lost weight as a result of it. But I think if I would see something like this and be able to smell something good, then that makes me want to eat.
Okay, if you don't eat your part today, I'll eat it.
You'll eat it?
And I'll let you know if it was good.
If it was good.
But listen, today we have got a professional.
I know.
I mean, he is professional all the way. And he knows what all this is and how it goes.
He knows what this is even.
Yeah, it looks like grits, but I don't think it is.
Okay, we'll find out.
Anyway, it's going to be a good day.
It is, so don't you go
welcome
away.
to our kitchen, and we welcome and give a great big hand to Mr. Jim Spearman.
Yeah, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
How are you, ladies?
Good to have you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
And I know people are going to say, Jim, Tammy Show
That's
again.
right.
Jim, Tammy, and Joe.
Oh, listen, so good to have you.
So, what are we making today, Jim?
Well, today we're going to do a pork tenderloin, we see here, and we're going to stuff that with some sun-dried cherries and apricots.
Now, I want to ask you about the pork tenderloin. How do you pick out a pork tenderloin?
Well, generally, I love to go to a market where I can see the meat that is laid out, which is a hard thing to do these days. You know, everything comes in a package, but I do like to choose foods that are, you know, organically raised, free of hormones, antibiotic-free, if that's at all possible. It's very hard, but I do like to do that. And this is a very lean piece of pork because they, you know, they call this the other white meat, don't they? And so you can see it's very little fat.
Now, we used to be taught that pork was bad for us. All white days coming up. And now I find out that pork is good for you.
Yeah.
And I was so glad because I love the flavor of pork.
I
get so sick of just eating chicken all the time.
That's right. Or fish.
You know, your fish, you know. And pork is a wonderful substitute, and it is called the other white meat.
It is, and it's a very good thing for you. I think it's a nice choice. We run out of choices for menus after
Do you have to, is it an old wives' tale that you have to cook the life out of pork in order to...
Well,
there's something in pork, they say, that if you don't cook it enough, it'll give you some kind of a disease.
Well, food poisoning,
Well, that was the time, you know, some years ago, you know, a long time ago when farms were prevalent, you know, people were worried about things like they call trichinosis.
Trichinosis, yes.
And so, but now these days the animals are raised in such a good environment, hopefully, and that's why I like to pick out the ones that have been looked after very well and have been raised free of drugs.
But you still need to make sure it's cooked thoroughly, right?
Exactly. 160 degrees on a meat thermometer, and you'll know that pork is done.
160 degrees. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
160 degrees on a thermometer, and you'll know that your pork is done.
That's right.
And we're going to serve with that some couscous. So this is our grits, you see.
That's a joy. I know.
Well, you know, that's made from durum wheat. It's actually like a pasta. It's very small grains.
Yeah.
It's very easy to cook. It's nothing to be afraid of.
Well, what do you eat it with?
Anything that you want to. Whatever you have with potatoes or rice, it's a starch dish.
So it's like you could, in place of potatoes, in place of rice, you could serve couscous.
Certainly.
Couscous, what
so
a
it's
cute
a nice
name.
change of pace, and the beauty of that is you can do anything with it. You know, you can add all sorts of things to add flavor.
You can,
so it's beautiful. That's
Okay.
always
That
a nice
sounds
power.
good too.
To me.
Wonderful.
So what we're going to do is we're also going to have some beautiful fresh asparagus, and you'll see I've got the green asparagus and the white asparagus.
I didn't know it came in white.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't. It's a wonderful thing, though. It's very tasty, and you know, people, especially in European countries, they have festivals regarding asparagus. You know, it's a big deal to them, and I think it's wonderful, and I think we'll enjoy doing that today. It makes a nice, colorful dish, and I'll show you how that's easily prepared.
Okay.
People think they don't like it, but it will not turn out mushy at all. It's going to be beautiful and slightly crisp.
And I see you have some pine nuts
I
here.
do.
I absolutely, a lot of people don't know about pine nuts, but if you can get addicted to these.
They're wonderful.
Are they actually a nut? They aren't, are they?
Well, they really are. They come from a pine tree, actually. You know, they come from the cones of a pine tree.
Sunflowers.
No, it's sweet.
It's very nice, and what we do is You know, we have
Hey,
toasted
don't eat
those.
all our food.
That's right. They're good for that. That's the fun of eating, you know.
Oh,
I'm
no.
sure we over-measured so we can always
Oh,
have a
good.
little
I'm
snack.
sure
you see.
glad.
Now, I'll tell you what I'll do is, the way I like to do some things, depending on the menu, is you see that I have about a cup of dried apricots and a cup of sun-dried cherries.
Okay.
there. And what
Sun-dried cherries.
they're wonderful. And what I've done is put those into a cup of apple juice, and I've heated them on the stove, brought it to a boil, turned it off, and just let them sit there for a while.
marinate,
Yes,
huh?
and they just plump up and they get really nice. And we're
Now,
going to use
now
those.
we got to get this going, don't we?
Exactly. This is 4 cups in this container, which, you know.
Now, Jim, where do you find that in the grocery store?
Well, you know, most grocery stores are carrying more and more organic products now.
Okay.
So this is an organic, and it's a vegetable broth. Now, you could use chicken broth or beef if
It's
you
a
want
vegetable
to.
broth.
That's good.
But I decided to use the vegetable today.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, if you're on a vegetarian diet, well, this will go well. You could eat couscous and fruit would be a lovely thing, wouldn't it? But anyway, I think what we'll do is go ahead and
Well,
put
what
the
are
4
you-
cups in here.
4 cups in there, and then what are you going to do?
And this is 4 cups.
Okay.
And then we're going to
Wait,
bring this to a boil.
How do you know you got to measure, Tammy?
Well, this is exactly 4 cups in this container. This is why we love this.
I
because
don't think she knew that, though.
Oh,
I did not know that.
Tammy, you did know it.
No,
I know. You're just saying that.
It
I
smells
did
wonderful.
not know that broth came in vegetable broth, and that's good.
Well, it is good.
I used to cook a lot, but my kids are growing now, and I have taken the grandmother's way out. I don't cook anymore.
Well,
Very
now you can
seldom.
supervise, and that's
I
a lot more
supervise.
fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I know
And
what
tease
you
everybody
do.
else.
You make reservations better than
Yes!
you make good dinner.
You're right.
Okay.
That there.
All
Now,
right.
what we're going to do is
You got some toothpaste here.
Yes,
No,
it looks
look at
like
that.
it, doesn't it?
Have you ever seen tomato paste like that?
No.
I forgot my toothbrush today, so I honestly had to brush my teeth with a washcloth.
Well, let me
But
tell
this
you,
is tomato paste.
I love the
in
tomato
that.
paste in the tube because you know when a recipe calls for tomato paste, you have to buy even a small can, but you never need
all of it.
So with this tube, I can use just what I need.
I've
and put
never
the rest
seen
in
that.
the
Do you keep it in the
refrigerator.
refrigerator
Yes, ma'am.
after you use
It's
it?
very
Well,
nice. I
okay.
love
How about that?
Well, how do you know it goes in there?
Oh, it smells good. I don't know that it goes in there, but I
Oh.
saw it sitting there and couldn't help myself. Wouldn't
Okay.
it be something to brush your teeth with tomato paste?
Well, I think it'd be a nice way to start your day. I
I like tomatoes.
Now, what we're going to do is add to this vegetable broth
Okay.
2 tablespoons of
Okay.
salt. And I
Oh,
usually
that's a
use-
lot of salt.
It is a lot of salt, but now you know this is a pasta. And you
Yes.
know, anytime you cook pastas,
It's
you
salt.
need to put quite a bit of salt
Okay.
in there
Oh, I didn't
because it
realize
would be
that.
basically flavorless
What
without
kind of
this.
salt is that,
Now,
Jim?
this is sea salt.
Is that better for you?
Well, they say that it is, and I think that anything that is
Oh, we
as
must turn on
natural
the
as
wrong burner.
possible
Oh,
is,
okay.
is a good thing for you.
Is it
Okay.
this one?
Mm-hmm.
We turn it on a high?
high.
Probably mash it and then, yeah.
There,
Okay.
okay. Oh, high. There we go. Hi.
This salt has been just evaporated straight from the seawater from the Mediterranean. It's a very nice one. You know,
Oh,
it's not
okay.
been mined. There are no chemical processes
Oh.
involved.
I see this a lot in a lot of restaurants.
It's
the
very
sea
good.
salt.
I like it. So we'll put in 2
Is it coarse or
tablespoons.
grain?
This is a fine one. You can get coarse.
Okay.
So we'll
That's
put,
interesting to me. They would put in 2 teaspoons of
Yeah.
salt.
well, we're going to do
Salt.
2 tablespoons.
Tablespoon.
Okay.
Okay.
And of course, we're seasoning the broth also, probably.
Certainly. Now, what we're also going to
Butter.
do... Butter. You know...
Can't
Our
cook with
show.
that.
Well, I
You can't come to
cook
our
without
show
butter.
unless you have lots of
I
butter.
cannot cook without butter because, you know, I prefer butter over margarine, really. I don't know why that is.
I don't think
but-
margarine's good for you.
Well, I think anything that comes from a nice, healthy cow
Cow
must be a
is-
wonderful thing, and so I just love to use this, and everything sparingly is always wonderful. So we're going to use 2 tablespoons, and you know,
Put that in there.
righty? And of course,
That is
We
going
need
to
a-
burn if we don't
we need
get
a-
that off. I thought I shut it off. I did shut it off.
we'll just set that off.
Can we put it back there?
That'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's still on, Jim.
How do we get it off? I've got it off on here.
Well, maybe it just has to. Whatever.
I don't know.
It'll probably cool. down.
Okay.
When we have problems, then we just have problems.
Okay.
It's really fun.
Okay.
We
That's
figure
good.
it out right,
That's right.
like you would at home.
So we have everything in here, and then while that's coming to a boil,
Okay.
we'll go to the next step. Now you'll notice I'm sort of working in reverse here because I like to get a few things going, and then
Okay.
we're going to work on the pork
Okay.
tenderloin because that'll take us a few minutes more. These won't require as much time.
Okay.
In this pot over here, I have put 4 quarts of water.
Whoa.
That's a lot of water.
That's a lot of water, but we're going to need a lot of water. And then here, It's granulated sugar.
Sugar, how many?
And I'm going to let you put 2 of these. That will be a cup.
Okay, and what?
Into
In
the
this.
boiling water.
Oh, into the boiling water. Okay. 2 of these. Okay. 1.
Do you have to stir it, or does it do its thing?
No, it'll be just fine. It'll
Okay.
dissolve and it'll just disperse
All
through
right.
the
See,
water.
I'm dispersing it.
Yeah, I can tell.
You did that very well, too.
Thank you. I dispersed it.
Now, we're going to let that come to a boil. Now, we have the fresh asparagus here. Now, I believe that we have an expert who knows all about how to work with asparagus, don't
He
we?
watches something.
I've been watching another channel.
That is not good, is
My,
it?
my husband doesn't know it, but I love Food Network.
Oh, really?
And I've learned so many things from Food Network.
You don't even cook, do you?
Sure I do. Sure. Not as much as I used to, though.
Yeah, right.
And they say, and I want to see if you agree, you take, what do you call this, a stem?
A spear.
Of asparagus, and you sort of bend it. And wherever it breaks, that's the marker.
That's exactly right.
Well, I'm bending mine, nothing's happening. There.
I did.
It did.
Well,
Look at that.
Because you'll see that on the bottom of the asparagus, it's woody here.
It's
Now-
going to be cooked, so it doesn't matter if you pick it up off the
Now,
floor.
now, ideally, when you go into the grocery store, you will see a lot of stores these days who will have the asparagus standing in
Water?
water.
Yes.
And
Oh.
it should be that way because, you know, this is a fresh product. When it's picked, it was like flowers. You wouldn't think of cutting flowers out of the garden and bringing them in and just laying them down on the
Right.
table.
Oh,
Right.
no.
So they should really be standing in water. They'll be fresh for a nice long time. for you.
Okay.
So after you, if you're not going to use it right away, it's always a good thing to at least break those
it.
ends, just exactly like you did that. Put them
Okay.
into some cold
Can we
water.
break 'em
and
all
leave
now?
them in- Well, I'll show you what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to
No,
make this
since he has a
easier.
measure, he can cut now.
Now, you see,
Oh.
because just a moment ago she was showing me this, you know, and I think that's a wonderful thing to do if you have a bunch or so of it. But what I want to do is when I finish with this, I want all of the asparagus to be the
Pretty
same
much the same.
size.
Okay, okay.
So now that we know that this bunch of asparagus should be
about
about this
there.
length, we're going to take this just here.
It would be interesting, though, just to see.
To see
To
what?
see what happens. But I think you will see the difference.
I will see that that's
because
right.
you can see that that's very woody.
Woody. It's woody.
Now you can see that those are
That's
not.
oh, fresh. Oh,
So
nummy,
that's
nummy.
quite a difference there.
Okay.
Okay. The white works just like the green,
The
I
right?
white-
didn't know they had white.
I didn't either.
Now the white you'll find is probably a little more woody than the green one is, of course, because the green one has more chlorophyll in it and it keeps it nice and fresh. But you know, I think we can still assume that it's going to be about the same thing. And are you going to do that one for me?
I'm an expert
I want to
at
do
this.
one, too, because I'm not an
Certainly.
expert.
Here. You want to do a white one?
I want to do a white one.
Okay.
Ah!
That's
Boy,
it.
that's-
You see?
Look at that. Ours is the
That
same.
one's going to be, yes.
Ours is the same.
Yeah, I tell you.
All right. So I'll tell you
Okay.
what we're going to do. Now, you'll notice that what I'm going to do is I'm leaving the rubber bands or whatever tie it comes with.
When you
on
cook it?
The asparagus.
No,
Yes.
no. To
Well,
cook it?
I'm going to blanch this asparagus
Oh.
in that water
He's
that
gonna-
you put the sugar
Gonna
in.
leave it on there.
Yeah,
And I'm going
that's
to leave
right.
it on. And the reason I do is because when I reach
'Cause
in
rubber
with the
band
tongue,
tastes good.
I can pull it all out again, and
the
it won't
same
be in
time.
1,000 different directions.
That's Oh, good.
great
Because when I
idea.
make the plate at the end, I want everything going in the same direction, don't I? And I don't
He
want to
knows what
spend
he's
all
doing.
day trying to stand there doing that.
That's
with
the
it, do I?
difference between you and me and
Yeah,
him.
we would have just thrown it in. And... Well, we're learning stuff. I
Well,
didn't
hey,
know
I'm
this.
learning every day.
And I thought maybe the rubber band would melt in there, and then we'd
The
be...
trash
Oh,
can's
no, it
over there
doesn't at
beside
all.
you, Jim.
It
Here,
doesn't have,
I'm
oh,
gonna
good.
go get the
Yeah.
trash can.
Okay, go right on.
Well, look at that, Joe.
Let's see.
See how he took and
Well, see, he wants everything just right.
Just right,
You and
yeah.
I would just throw it in
we
there.
just throw it in there.
Yeah.
Now you see those are nice
Yes,
and fresh. on the
ooh.
bottom, right?
Nummy. There's writing on the rubber band. That's not going to hurt anything, huh?
I don't think it will. I've done this.
Ink. Ink. Good ink. Mm.
Doesn't it smell good?
It does smell good. That broth.
That broth is coming to a boil.
Now, what do
then.
you do here when the smoke keeps coming?
Okay, now the thing we'll do...
Turn it down?
We can turn this down for a while.
Okay.
We'll just turn it down to low.
Oh, we get a facial.
Well, that's the beauty of cooking. You see.
Yeah, you get a facial. Free.
That's one of the most creative things in the world. You can do everything in the kitchen when you
yes.
cook. Now, the pine nuts we've already toasted with 2 tablespoons of butter.
We've already done that?
Mm-hmm. And so we put these here into this.
When you toast something with 2 tablespoons of butter, how do you do it?
Well, I just use a small sauteing skillet.
Yes.
And what I do is put 2 tablespoons of butter in. I
Yeah.
melt it. I use these pine nuts,
And you
sprinkle them in, and I just keep shaking
That's
them
why
around.
they taste
Now,
No
that-
salt or anything?
I don't have to put salt here because I'm going to use this in a dish that will have salt.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can do that if you want to. But
Okay.
the thing of it is with anything like nuts, like almonds or hazelnuts or even pine nuts, you know, they do have oil content. So they don't need to be roasted or
Right.
toasted very long.
I
They will
would
burn.
like to see the tree those things come off, and wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? I've never seen a pine nut tree.
Now, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and cut off this broth here.
Oh, that broth smells so good. I want
It
to go home and
does.
just put some on in my house.
Could you
and-
use this as soup?
Yes, you could. That's a wonderful base for
Is it
soup.
really?
Oh, that's perfect for
and
that.
then just take all your other canned soups and put in
Put
there.
in the vegetables, yeah. Not the other canned soups, vegetables.
Now, what I want you to do
Okay.
is put in,
Couscous.
this is 2 cups. Okay, I mean, yes, that's, I'm sorry, that's going to be 4 cups of couscous here.
Okay.
2 of each one. Okay, put
Now
it just
does-
in here.
Now, does it?
Just put it in.
Does it swell up like spaghetti does, and so that it?
What we've done is turned off the broth. We've brought it to a boil. We're going to add the couscous. I want you to take a spoon now, and we will
I
just
need a big spoon.
stir this around.
What about wooden spoons? Oh, right here. No, those. Yeah, well, whatever.
Here, Joe.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, it's already thickening
Oh
up.
man, I've never cooked couscous
I hadn't
in my
either.
life. How long do you cook it?
Well, now, we don't have to really cook it any longer. What we're going to do is let it absorb in this water.
Oh, it absorbs. Okay.
Now,
Do you cover it or anything, Jim?
we can put a lid on that.
All right.
Put a lid on it, Joe.
Find the lid.
I don't even know if there's a lid.
Oh, well, whatever.
Well, there was. No, there wasn't.
We
I've never
used it
seen
on
a lid.
here.
Okay.
It's fine. It'll be okay like it is, but it's
Now,
off,
now we got to turn it down.
Turn it off.
and we'll just set it to the, maybe we can move it to that
Okay.
aisle over there, and it
All
won't
right.
That was still on.
Yeah, that's all right. Okay.
Okay.
be, all right? And we'll just leave that like it is for a moment, because it'll be good and it's quite hot.
Okay.
Okay.
Couscous. Have you ever made it, Joe?
No, I've never eaten it or made it.
I've eaten it, but I've never made it.
All right, now, I think what we'll do is go ahead and work on the pork tenderloin now,
Okay.
because we have everything else for our meal pretty well in preparation here.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now, what I like to do is I always keep in the kitchen, I
Rubber
always
gloves?
love to work with latex gloves.
You
I'm
do?
sorry. Well, I do, because
handling meat.
I'm
Oh,
handling the
meat.
meat.
That's it.
And a lot of people have latex allergies, so they shouldn't use them, of course, but they do make just clear plastic ones. But these are fine for me. They're very tight, and it saves me from always I can just take
To
the
wash
gloves
your
off,
hands?
and then I
Oh,
can pick
I
up
see.
something else, and it's just a little
Okay.
quicker for me.
And they say it is very careful. You've got to be very careful about the way you handle meat.
And
yeah.
yes, that's true, and especially chicken. You know, that's a very special thing.
I
Now, you
always
see-
wash my hands before and after with chicken.
It's always good.
Looks like you're going to do surgery, so.
I'm going to perform a slight surgery
All right.
here. This will never be the same again, I'm
Okay.
certain of it. So you see it's very little fat here, but what we want to do is just take a paring knife, very sharp, the point, and we're just going to go right up under this.
So in this case, fat's not good. They say
Well-
a little fat in meat is usually good.
Now, you know, the fat on the reason is because this is very lean meat.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is I want this off because I'm going to add fat to this.
Oh, I
and
see.
when I talk about all these wonderful healthy things, when
Yeah.
I tell you that I'm going to
Add fat.
wrap this in bacon,
Oh!
Oh.
you will understand that we might as well take off
Well,
as
we
much
can.
as possible, hadn't we?
Okay.
Now, I have this pork tenderloin on a separate mat on top of this cutting board here.
Is it a good idea to keep a cutting board just for meat, Jim?
It's always a very good idea. And in the food industry, you know, you don't expect that at home, but certainly in restaurants these days, it's required that you have color-coded cutting boards.
that's
And
good.
there is one for chicken, one for beef, one
Oh,
for fish.
that's good.
And this is a very good thing, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
It's good.
Now, we don't have to be so particular that we remove every little bit of it. It will cook away, but I do like to clean it up just as much as possible. Now, you'll see here on this piece of meat, and there'll always be this, always on any tenderloin, even beef tenderloin, this is a smaller piece. You see, this is a sinew, we call it just a silver skin.
Yeah.
That will never cook away like the fat will. It will always be there, and so I just like to remove it. It's not going to do you any harm.
Silver skin.
It's just a little chewy and tough and might take away from the texture of the dish. Okay.
And it'll always be there.
It will always be there. It doesn't. It will not.
I didn't know about that.
I didn't either.
It will not dissolve in the heat.
Okay.
Well, we're sort of massacring that thing.
Well, not really. Now, you see, we're sort of finished with that. I just wanted to clean it up slightly because sometimes you don't find them.
Oh, there's a big hunk you can get there.
You see?
Doesn't that look like fun?
Well, he knows
I don't
how
know
to
that
do
I
it.
would want to sit and do that at home, but
Well,
Well,
you know.
you could for your family because you wouldn't have
Sure.
to do but one. I
That's
wouldn't want
right.
to do it all day long.
Oh,
No,
no, I wouldn't
no.
think so either. But, I mean, can you imagine that people do?
Sure, sure.
just take the fat off
Butchers,
all day
yeah.
long.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They call
I'm
it a
glad we
spa,
find-
don't they?
It's really nice. It's really nice.
You know, we're going to have to take a break, Jim.
Okay.
But you can
And-
just keep.
And it's right at the time that you won't miss a thing unless you want to see him cut the fat. We're going to be coming right back. And listen, we still have a network.
Yes.
www.youcanmakeit.net.
Yay! You said it.
I got it. We'll be right back.
And you're stuffing pork loin.
Pork tenderloin. And I seasoned it with pepper and some sea salt. I cut a nice pocket down the center of it. You don't have to be afraid of this at all. It just comes out beautifully.
And while he's doing that, we have this on simmering, and this is. We'll tell you about this in a minute. This is unbelievable what he's done there.
Our couscous is made.
Our couscous is made. They put pineapple in the couscous. We put onions in the couscous.
2 bunches of
And-
green onions,
and
one pineapple.
And one pineapple, and what else?
And we put the pine nuts, which
The pine
we
nuts.
had
Yeah.
toasted.
Went in the couscous.
Now I have stuffed the tenderloin. I'm going to hold it tightly together. I've laid it down on bacon, strips laid side by side on parchment paper. Right in the center, and it's just a constant wrapping back and forth.
Oh, that looks so good.
And you want to hold that bacon as tight as possible. It's a thicker slice
And you don't have to
bacon.
put any toothpicks or anything in it to
Oh,
hold
no,
it.
not at all. Because the way we're wrapping this, you see, we'll lay it into the pan.
Okay.
I think Joanne has one
I
already.
do.
Joanne has
I'm
one
guarding
she'll
this
claim.
one.
She's not going to
Now,
share this
how
one with
many
anybody.
strips of bacon usually do you
This
use?
is a 12-ounce package. Now, you see, depending on the tenderloin, some are
Right.
larger, but we won't need those 2 slices. We'll
Okay.
save it for
And
something
there we
later.
are.
And there you
Oh,
are.
in the
125
oven.
degrees for
Oh.
about 25 minutes.
And please
Wonderful.
tell us you added a little bit of.
We put some olive oil, about 3
And-
tablespoons of balsamic vinegar here, and a squeeze of fresh lemon to
And you,
keep
al-
that beautiful
and you
color.
also started out with garlic and
And
olive oil. Yeah, garlic and olive
Sauteed
oil.
it.
Jim, the pork loin is in the oven.
Oh, good.
And now the sauce, there's one to make.
That's right.
Tell
And
us how you do it.
So while the pork is cooking, we're having 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the saucepan, a tablespoon of tomato paste, and 2 tablespoons of whole grain mustard.
That is
And this is
wonderful.
just very good. Cook that all together. We're going to boil it, turn it down, and let it simmer for about 15 minutes until it's reduced about a third. So
I
it's
said, as
just
long as you
chicken.
didn't tell us to reduce, we
That's
didn't care if you reduced.
Because it's just a light sauce, you know. It's not.
And
meant
then
to-
you slice
And then
the
we're
meat.
going to put the couscous we've already got prepared on the center of the plate,
Okay.
and the sliced pork tenderloin, and the asparagus around the outside, and your whole meal is on
Going
this
to be
platter.
delicious.
You must come back.
I'd love to.
Please
Thank you very
do,
much.
please
Yes.
do.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to visit our website, you can get it www.youcanmakeit.net.
You got it. And until next time, remember, Keep a song in your heart.
And you can make it.
Yes.